Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Real Money Coach time. It is 8 p.m. on Tuesday, and I am excited that you are joining the Real Money Coach. Listen, please put in the chat where you're watching from, what part of the country, what city, what state. Tell us hello. I see Kimberly in the house. Thank you for being here. And she is from North Carolina, the Queen City. And listen, I am excited about our guest tonight. We got a gentleman that I met through my mentor, his mentor, our mentor, Dr. George Frazier. And y'all know Dr. George Frazier was on 2 weeks ago. And George, Dr. G, don't hold back no punches. Alice Martin, thank you for being here each and every week. We just love our regulars every week, Kimberly and Alice Martin. And I know my girl Ruth Bell is going to come through. She usually is, unless she's tied up. Her, Dr. Benita Harris, are great people that watch us each and every week. And thank you guys also for tuning in to the iHeartRadio show on Fridays at 5 p.m. I'm having an absolute blast with that, sharing some music. And I do 3 segments. I do a segment called Real Money News. And for this week or this month, I've been highlighting a pioneer in Black business, And one of the pioneers that I highlighted this particular week was Reginald Lewis. And when I was coming along and my co-host Michelle, we were all in college. I mean, Reginald Lewis was like a legend, right? So I talk about him. I talked about Robert Johnson. And then we also have a segment that I call the Real Money Moves, where we tell you how to make your money move in the right direction. This week, we are focusing in on using life insurance to build wealth, a study that was done by LIMRA. And so those are the types of things that we talk about. Plus, we have a lot of great gospel music for you during that hour. So I'm excited that you are with us tonight. And we're going to talk about a wonderful, wonderful topic. Mastermind, being part of a mastermind group. So we're going to be doing that here a little bit later. But right now, I'm going to bring on my co-host, the host with the most, my girl, my wife's bestie. Y'all already know that already. I keep saying it. Y'all already know. Let's bring on Michelle Mitchell.
Good evening, Tony.
Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
Doing good.
You doing good?
Yeah.
How was your day?
My day was good. Very effective. I'll put it that way.
Very effective. Michelle,
Yeah.
one of the things I wanted to talk about, I mean, I probably should have texted you and told you I wanted to ask you about this, but, I don't do that.
Right.
I'm just bringing it on you, right? Tell us a little bit about how it's going with the Goldman Sachs thing that you're doing.
Sure. The Goldman, the Goldman Sachs program is really it's an amazing program. I was kind of hesitant in the beginning, like what could I learn from a program like this? Why would I want to spend 20 hours a week away from my business and working in this program? Well, right now I'm almost halfway through and I'm seeing some of the benefits of working in the program. One, they take small business and try to help you build a larger business so that you can impact more people's lives, basically. So you can hire more employees and you're financially strong so that you can go after opportunities that are presented to you. So that encompasses a lot of things. You need to be know your numbers and your financial statements and all of that, in order to analyze how well you are doing. And then you need to develop your opportunities that are offered to you or that you are presented with along with your core business. So all of this that I'm doing in the Goldman Sachs program is helping to propel my business for the future, not necessarily like fix things that's going on right now, but helping to set you up for the future and being able to present your business in a way that is attractive to uh, funders, attractive to new clients, and attractive to top talent. So we
Mm,
all need talent in order to grow our businesses. And the program is really breaking down in little micro pieces all the elements that you're going to need in order to become one of those big companies one day, like outside of yourself. So this week we're working on visioning, and I'm all about vision, right? But they
right,
take
right.
this to a whole nother level vision. Like,
That's awesome.
yes. So
And
it's
and and
really
and
a
the thing
phenomenal
about it
program.
too, Michelle, is that you didn't just get land in the program. It's you had to be
Yeah.
selected, and you had to go
Yeah.
through the selection process and all those type of things. And really, not really thinking about that before I asked the question, but I think that program fits in real nice with our topic this evening, which
Mhm.
is going to be the power of the mastermind, right? And
Yes. Yes.
so that's like bringing people together,
Yeah.
and we have an expert in that area that's going to talk to us tonight, and Brother Bedford. But so I think that's kind of a fitting that we kind of talk about that a little bit, and
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to picking his brain tonight. And
Mhm.
if you guys who are watching and wherever you're watching from, please put it in the chat box, and if you have questions, let us know. And we just want to bring you again, I want to talk about being real, right? The real
Yep.
money coach stands for relevant, it stands for educational,
Mhm.
actionable, and life-changing information.
Yeah.
And so that's what we want to bring each and every week. And with the help of Michelle and some wonderful guests, I think we accomplished that. It's
Yeah. I think we do it
amazing
every
how
week.
much I learned from just hosting and having these wonderful people that come on,
Mhm.
and you just never know where the conversation is going to go. But
Yeah.
but we pick up a lot of things, and so it's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well,
So I
Michelle, go ahead.
I'm excited about talking about masterminds. So
Yeah, I am too. And when I've had some conversations with him, I just been kind of all, at all, just how people have their expertise and things that they
mhm.
do that they're expert in. And so really, that's really cool. And we're just so blessed to have all these wonderful people that just keep coming by.
I know they do.
Michelle, on the show, let your girl Julie Gordon White know that on the
Mhm.
iHeartRadio show this Friday, I'm going to be airing the interview that we had with her. And
Oh,
so
nice.
it's going
Okay.
to be
I will.
on the iHeartRadio show this Friday. So she was dropping some nuggets. She was dropping some knowledge.
Yes.
And so
Julie
we're
is
gonna,
amazing.
yeah, so we're gonna
Yeah.
be playing that interview on the show this weekend on
Nice.
Friday. And Michelle, what you gonna be doing a week from today? Do you know?
A week from today. Hmm.
Anybody know what Michelle's gonna be doing a week from today? What's going
Hmm.
on a week from today? 1 week from
Oh my
today.
goodness.
Anybody
Well,
tell me? Anybody tell me what's gonna be going on? What's gonna happen?
well, one, I think it might be your birthday.
That's true. That's true. My
I think
birthday's
that
in
might,
1 week.
but the book launch is
What?
next week.
You're absolutely right. I am so excited about the book launch, right? I'm excited about the book launch.
Yes.
And we got Dr. George Frazier is going to be a speaker. We got, and then when George was on the show, he said, you got, how you going to pull this off, right?
Right.
So we got Dr. George Frazier going to be there. AJ Joyner was my publisher. Awesome guy, has this great app for those of you who may have a goal of writing a book. He's got this awesome app that will take you from A to Z to write your book. You got to come and find out about it. And
Wow.
then we have Megan and Reagan Lynch, right? They're
Mhm.
twin sisters. Their brand is called Double Vision. They are co-founders along with a couple gentlemen that founded Extreme FX. It's a foreign exchange platform, black owned, by the way. And then Alistair Edwards, a friend of the program. He's been on our show. He's really big in Legal Shield.
Mhm.
He lives in Atlanta, but he shared with us when he was on the show before of his close call
Yeah.
with death and those type of things. And then we got Dr. Boyce Watkins. Y'all know Dr. Boyce. Um, he is going to be in the house doing what Boyce does, right? So it's going to be pretty awesome. And then a good friend of our guest tonight, and a good friend of mine, Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, the author of Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. And so had a great conversation with him last night, just kind of kicking the breeze with Dr. Kimbrough. So that's going to be pretty awesome. And then Jerome Davis from the Black Couples Getaway. They just had their
Mhm.
ski trip. Looks
Mhm.
like they had a wonderful time up in the mountains of Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Yep.
But Jerome is going to be here again, a friend of the program. He's been on. We do a lot of great work with them. So that's what's in store next week, y'all. And it's going to be action packed. Michelle, we're going to give away prizes. We're going to have
Nice.
prizes to give away. Now, I sent out an email today, y'all. If you want to win a prize, you have to register for the book launch. Now, you don't have to register to watch it. You can watch it on
Mhm.
Facebook. You can watch it on YouTube, just like this show comes to you at 8 o'clock. We're starting at 7 next week. But if you want to win the prize, you got to register, and you also have to have pre-ordered your book. And so if you've done those two things, you will be in the drawing. And we got one more surprise to get in the drawing as well. So all of that is going to take place next Tuesday.
Yes. It seems
Woohoo!
like we've been talking about this for a long time, and
Well,
it's
I
here.
started in April of last year.
Last year. Yeah.
I started in April of last year. And when I started, I think that he kind of laughed at me. I said, "Yeah, I want to have this book done in about 3 months."
Right.
He's like, "Okay, well, why don't we plan for like the fall?"
Right.
And so then we pushed it back, and edits and re-edits and all that kind of stuff. But the time is here. The
The time is
time
here.
is here. The time is here.
And
So
you can call yourself an author.
isn't that
You're an
amazing? Look,
author. Congratulations, my friend.
y'all don't realize Michelle is like she the studious one. Okay, so Michelle, her husband Antonio, Elisa, and myself. Michelle's got all the degrees, right? Michelle, when I was looking at master's programs,
Mhm.
I would look at the master's program and I'd look at the final course, and it would usually be some type of thesis.
Yeah.
And if it said 10,000 words, I like, nope, I ain't
Right.
doing that. And now I'd have written a book
You wrote a
that
book.
has almost 25,000 words. I was like, who is this dude that wrote this
Where
book?
did
Where
those
did that
words
come
come
from?
from? Right.
So a lot of wonderful stories in the book. And so thank you all who have already supported. So many of you have done it. We got 100 books in pre-sale. We got
Nice.
nearly 75 people who have registered for the book launch. And
Nice.
so just thank you guys. Thank you all for supporting the Real Money Coach.
Yeah,
So,
I'm supposed to order my mother-in-law one. I keep forgetting.
oh, are you? Yeah, order one. Tell her,
Yeah.
order her book.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm having a blast. It's a lot of work. I
Yeah.
mean, getting ready for the launch has been more work than I thought, and just learning the tricks of how do you sign a book and the
Mm.
postage and all that good stuff. But
Mhm.
um, it's been cool. So I can help you, Michelle. I can help you when your book drops.
Okay.
I'm taking some notes, the tricks of the trade. Our guest today is an author as well.
Is he?
Yes,
Wow.
he is. And so let me go ahead and introduce our guest tonight. His name is Brother Bedford. He's a best-selling author, as I mentioned. His specialty, he's a revered marketing and business advisor to entrepreneurs, business owners all across America. He hosts this thing called Conversations. Listen, Conversations with Black millionaires. He's
Ooh.
founder of the Masters of Business Mastermind, and he's a trusted coach, consultant to entrepreneurs, revenues that span anywhere from 1 million to tens of millions of dollars. So he's been seen on NBC, CBS, Radio One, iHeartRadio, XM Radio, all over the place. And so I'm glad that we can be counted in that number, that we can say now he's also been seen on the Real Money Coach. All right, let's bring Brother Bedford on.
Hey, Tony, how you doing, man?
Well, man, it's always a blessing to be in your presence.
No, the honor is always mine. Thank you for having me. I feel that introduction. Thank you so much for that. And this is probably the most prized appearance out of all of those appearances. This is the most prized appearance to be on here with
all
you.
Right. We're gonna let you have that one. We're gonna
Right.
But Brother Bedford, man, I tell you what, when I ran into you for a couple years at the Power Networking Conference and that type of thing, seeing this sharp dressed brother, always carrying himself well and speaking well on stage and all that good stuff. And then I guess it's been 2 years now. It was actually right before COVID. It was in February of 2019 that I actually got to spend a little bit of time with you.
Right.
We were with George, and we were at Dr. Frazier. Sometimes I get comfortable. I say George.
I do too. I do too.
Dr. Frazier, and we were doing some training at New Birth in Atlanta, which is now pastored by Jamal Bryant. And so, and man, I was just impressed, man. I was impressed. And so it's just good to have you here.
Oh man, again, I'm honored to be here, and thank you for having me. Again, you mentioned just the relationship with Dr. Frazier. As you said, we get a little comfortable and we say George, and when he's given us permission, right? That's
right.
He said just call me George instead of Dr. Frazier all the time. But yeah, you're right. We had such a great time. We had encountered each other at the Power Networking Conference on a couple of occasions. I've been presenting there. The sharp dress, you can attribute that to just being from Detroit. That's how we do it in Detroit. And then you're right. We had such a great time because we spent some hours together with that training and getting to know a little bit about you and your business. Your beautiful wife was with you, as well as what George is doing with the WINS financial centers that he's expanding across the country. So yeah, we had a great time. We got an opportunity to get to know each other a lot better. So I appreciate that, and thank you for having me on again.
And so so we met in January, and then it's interesting as we were talking about it, just things come back to memory. Then George and I went back in February on my birthday. Wow. All right. Everything comes full circle.
Right.
So brother, tell us a little bit about you, your background, and a little bit about your family, whatever you want to share.
Sure. And I'll do my best to give you just the real condensed version to really kind of give your audience a chance to see how we got to this point. I started my entrepreneurial career, if you will, in the entertainment industry. Before we came on camera, we were talking about some of the things that I was doing once I got into the promotion phase. I started as an entertainer doing singing, opening up for some people that you may know today, such as a Jodeci, a Smokey Robinson. Had the opportunity to work with people like that in my younger days. Fell in love with the backstage, and we started promoting concerts across the country, and again working with people like a Gladys Knight. If I start naming names, I was the first person to bring Cedric the Entertainer on his first Midwest tour after he had come off BET Comic View. And so I was in the entrepreneurial space, and people said, if you really want to get into this space and learn about making money, you want to get into real estate. So I started buying and selling homes in the city of Detroit area. And then something happened, though. I started studying a couple, I guess you would say, the gurus that used to come on the late night infomercials, the Carlton Sheets and all of those different guys. And I started making money with one of the gentleman's courses, home study courses. But he invited me to a conference in Orlando, Florida, which was different. And this conference had nothing to do with real estate. But once I got to that conference, I walked in, and there was all of these paragons of the direct marketing and infomercial and internet marketing space and copywriting space. There was Agora Publishing there, Dan Kennedy, Jay Abraham, all of these icons in this information space. And that's what this conference was about. It was about taking your knowledge, your experience, passions or expertise, and then packaging them into information products. And I was hooked because at that conference, that real estate guru revealed that he made more money selling the how-to information in the courses than he did in actually investing in real estate, because real estate was local. It's not that he wasn't making money, but now once he started selling the how-to information, that business became a national business. And so I was hooked. I purchased a license to that course, came home, started selling that. And people started asking me about entrepreneurship and business and real estate. And so I started an online e-zine. That's what we called it back then, a digital newsletter. It was called an e-zine. And people started signing up. My first website was called howtobeablackentrepreneur.com. Very passionate about helping our people discover their entrepreneurial greatness. And people were asking me questions, and we started selling these little $7 digital reports. And so I started building this little internet empire, if you will. And then I said, man, if people are asking me these questions, I was reading a book at that time called Conversations with Millionaires. And in that book, it only had one Black person in it, and that was Wallace Famous Amos Cookies, right? Wallace Amos from Famous Amos Cookies, if you remember him, one of our earlier multimillionaires in the space. And then that's when the idea hit me. I said, wouldn't it be nice if somebody interviewed, all of our Black millionaires and put them into an ebook? And you mentioned that project, and that's what I did. In the very first interview I got, I called down to Cleveland, Ohio to interview Dr. Frazier at that time. And the young lady really broke my heart. She said she didn't think
we had a little connection issue.
Yeah, it looked like it.
So interesting. I love that, how to be a Black entrepreneur, and conversations with conversations with millionaires. I was looking at some of the comments. We got Dr. Emma Pendleton. I am to do that fine, and I'm trying to figure out what she's saying there. Dr. Emma, that is Dr. Frazier's sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Nice
that's Dr. Frazier's sister. She lives here in the Queen City. She lives here in Charlotte, and so that's pretty awesome. So yeah, Michelle. So it's so interesting as we talk about having conversations with millionaires.
Yeah.
And last week we had a millionaire, multimillionaire on the show.
Yes, we did.
Dr. Michael Roberts. So tell me, what did you think about Dr. Roberts? What's your thoughts on last week?
Dr. Roberts is very passionate about what he does, elevating Black business. That's what I got from Dr. Roberts.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I got.
You know what? He, Dr. Frazier, and people like that, they are givers. And another one that I've come to know is Dr. Bill Picard, who's also another Michigander, who's just a giver. I mean, these folks are just givers, brother. I mean, they're not all high on the hog, as they say. They're down to earth people. So talk to us. You were talking a little bit about the conversation with millionaires. So go ahead and pick up where you left off.
Well, I don't know where I dropped off, but just to your point, that was when I started getting on these interviews from the radio stations. They would ask me, well, what did these millionaires teach you? And that was one of the things. You just spoke to it. the key thing is that they are givers. They're shares. They love to give information, contrary to what people would believe. And it was, in fact, it was in my interview with Dr. Frazier where he made that statement. He said, Brother Bedford, you will find that those who truly are successful, they want to give. They love to give. Those who don't like to share, that they probably are hiding something. They're probably not as successful as they appear to be, and they feel like they have to hold something back. So that was one of the key attributes of all of these successful Black millionaires, is that they love to give and share information. In fact, they're looking for people to pour into.
You know, I found that just I meet with Michael Roberts. My Thursdays start off like this. I have an 8:30 meeting with Michael Roberts every Thursday morning. And then I have a 7 o'clock meeting with Dr. Frazier every Thursday evening. So I start my day off with Michael Roberts. I end it with Dr. Frazier. I mean, what, you know, I look forward to Thursday, man. I'm like, you know, Thursday is the day.
Talk about being over the hump. Over the hump Wednesday.
Right. It's like, wow. And so, but the one thing I appreciate about him, what Michelle was saying, is he is looking for ways to give back, particularly to our people, particularly to HBCUs and that type of thing. So I want to pick your brain a little bit on, since we're kind of running on this vein about your conversations with millionaires, particularly Black millionaires. You mentioned one of the key attributes is that they're givers. What are a couple other ones that you think you found that were common across the board?
Well, if we want to go back to just the skill sets or the traits that they have, they're lifelong learners. You've probably heard Dr. Frazier say this all the time, is that they've committed themselves to lifelong learning. They didn't let the educations that they received up until a certain point in school minimize their trajectory in terms of what they would acquire or what they could achieve in terms of success. They knew that they had to learn more. They had to meet people. Of course, we're speaking of Dr. Frazier and Dr. Roberts. They're networkers, right? So they know how to build effective relationships. And most times when we're saying these things to people who are just either reading or hearing us say this in a I don't want to say in a passive way, but someone is probably listening and they may hear me say this and they're like, oh yeah, I've heard that before. But no, this is their actual life, right? I mean, they actually practice developing relationships. You just talked about it. You're the prime example. Look at what your Thursday looks like. And your Thursday looks like that because you put into practice these principles that we're talking about. You built these effective relationships. And it's funny that you're talking about that we're going to talk about masterminding, because if you think about it, what you do on Thursday morning with Mike Roberts, you're masterminding. What you're doing with Dr. Frazier on Thursday evening, you're masterminding. So the masterminding is a key component of the success of all of these individuals. They do exactly what you are doing, or the environment that you've created for the Thursday. And I'm sure there's other days as well. This is what they do on a regular basis. And that's where the transformation happens. So if there's one other attribute that I would say, in addition to being lifelong learners, building effective relationships, making sure that they are experts or very proficient in their craft or their expertise, they're masterminding. They're constantly elevating themselves and putting themselves in an environment where they can have these critical conversations, because this is where the transformation happens. One of the things that I learned from all of those trainings that I was taking earlier, prior to Conversations with Black Millionaires, and many of you probably already know this, if you purchased any online courses or trainings from any so-called guru, you'll find that they have this escalation, this path to kind of get to them, right? There's probably a book, and there's a course, and there's a boot camp, and there's a webinar, or whatever. But the transformation or the end result, if you wanted to get the goodies, for the lack of a better term, you really wanted to get the insider secrets or something like that, you had to join their masterminds. And so this was something that, after going through all of those processes with all of these gurus and learning that this is where the transformation happens, this is where I get all of the problems solved, I reflected back on all of my conversations with Black millionaires and really the relationships that we built with Dr. Frazier and Dr. Roberts and Dr. Kimbrough. All of my greatest transformations or the things that helped to expedite my growth and my development, or even the next deal, right? The next opportunity, it happened in a mastermind setting. So those are 3 to 4 things that I would say that if someone is just watching, write those things down, become a lifelong learner, develop effective relationships, study to become proficient in your craft, but either join or start some type of mastermind activity and really just follow your example. If they just watch you and what you're doing, they'll kind of see the blueprint right there.
Well,
Right.
well, the thing is, I'm watching others,
Yeah.
and I'm watching
Right.
others because success. Marlon always says that success leaves footprints, right?
Right. Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
And so, and I listen to them very intently, right? And I listen to the things that Dr. Frazier says that when he's not on camera.
Right.
What my lessons that I've learned from going to the mall with Michael Roberts,
Yeah.
Mhm.
going out to eat with him. Lessons that I learned even about Bill Bacard when I met him.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought I thought he was homeless guy running through the convention center.
He's a beautiful human being, isn't he? So
He's a beautiful human being.
non-assuming, so non-assuming. You wouldn't
Yeah,
think that he
and
built this type of company.
I walk into the conference room the next day. He's up there having the millionaire conversation with
Yeah.
George. I'm
Yeah.
like, and the fact that he's been so giving, and we have in common. He went to Western,
Mm.
and so he went to Western where Michelle and I met as freshmen. Way back when, and that type of thing. But it's just they're just down to earth people, and they give. Let's hone in a little bit on the mastermind.
Mhm.
Um, I want to ask you this question. What is a mastermind? How would you describe it?
Yeah.
And then we can go into like if someone wanted to start a mastermind or become part of a mastermind, and we even want to talk about your mastermind group that you have as well in this overall conversation.
Sure, sure. Well, just to kind of simplify it, first, the mastermind principle. If anyone has studied, you talked about Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. Now, most people don't know, and this is really just an FYI for your listening audience. That book, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, he is actually the co-author with Napoleon Hill on that book. Prior to Napoleon Hill passing, he was working on a version. He knew that there was some things that Black people needed that was different than what was happening in the broader America. And he started on that and he passed away. And so Dr. Kimbrough picked that work up and he completed it. So that book, Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice, is by Napoleon Hill and Dr. Dennis Kimbrough. And a lot of people don't know that. Some people think, well, Dr. Kimbrough took the concept and kind of knocked off, the book, Think and Grow Rich. No, that is the actual book of Dr. Dennis Kimbrough and the Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill in the original Think and Grow Rich, the key principle that he talked about that kind of was the glue for all of the other principles to success was the mastermind principle. It was the second principle that he discussed. And he talked about how all of the great industrialists of that day, that was the key, really the master key to their success, is that they learned how to develop these relationships and mastermind with other people in order to take their lives, their careers, their professions, or even just their relationships to a whole nother level. Now, again, most people would attribute this to Napoleon Hill, but even Napoleon Hill tells you that this concept or this principle is ancient, right? I mean, it's literally in scripture, right? It says where 2 or more are gathered,
Right.
there I am in the midst of it.
Yes, right.
That's what a mastermind is. A mastermind is when one mind comes together with another mind, and that exchange between these 2 minds produce or invite another mind into the picture, and that new mind helps to bring forth new ideas,
Mhm.
new innovation, new inspiration, new motivation that these 2 separate minds hadn't thought about. They have issues or problems, but once they come together, now these problems are solved by just being in conversation with each other and asking the appropriate questions. So to simplify it for your audience, a mastermind is where 2 or more people come together to communicate, to solve the issues or problems that each individual may have, and they're inviting the knowledge. It's one of those things where you can literally borrow the knowledge and the wisdom, the education, the training, and even resources from other individuals, and use them for yourself. That's what takes place in a mastermind. You spoke so beautifully to it, because that's all we've been talking about. Everything that you mentioned, my relationship with Dr. Frazier. Of course, I read his book, Success Runs in Our Race. I read Race for Success. I read Click. But the transformation took place once he and I got together and we masterminding, and I was able to ask him questions and we had conversation on issues that was backstage, right? Not necessarily on the front stage. You just alluded to that yourself, where you said that, you know, the conversation that you have with Dr. Roberts walking through the mall, that's in essence, that's a mastermind. And so to your audience, you want to make sure that you either join a mastermind or start your own mastermind. Now, of course, we've found out how to turn these into paid masterminds virtually, especially since if the whole world has went virtual in 2020, right? But prior to that, the mastermind, the reason for, our people hadn't really gravitated to it because it was normally reserved for what we just talked about. It was actually after you've passed through the velvet rope and you've entered into the space of someone like a Dr. Frazier and you've come to the conference and all of those things, then you would be invited to maybe a destination or a place for a private mastermind. There was always just a select few who could get in the room. But I've been out here for the past few years, really just letting everybody know that since the world has become virtual, I wanted to take that premium experience, those premium conversations, that premium transformation that normally happens on the back end of a lot of our products and services, and bring it to the front end, especially for our people, because that's where the transformation happens.
Yeah.
You know, brother, that's so awesome. And one of the things that I have, and it's very entertaining, but it's also a great fundraiser. But at the PNC, when they have, and having Dr. Emma on the show tonight, watching, reminds me of the auction that they have, that you can auction. Michelle, you could go and over lunch, there's an auction, and people bid to spend a day with a Dr. Emma Pendleton, a day with Dr. Frazier, a day with these really thought leaders, and these, and the fact that we're so blessed that we get to spend that time with them, and they come on this show and they share for free.
Yeah,
for free. Yeah,
for free.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there ought to be an admission for this thing, right?
There should be.
But I think it's so important that, again, I think it's part of their DNA is that they want to give. And I've always been one who I love to sit down at my elders' feet, right? And just glean from them and let them talk to me. And I was that way even when I was a little boy. And my aunt lived with us. She lived with us, you know, she lived to be 104. And just hearing the stories that she would share. And as you're talking, I was thinking about couples even.
Yeah.
You know, Michelle and her husband are going to celebrate 30 years this year. My wife and I, we're going to celebrate our 30-year anniversary 6 weeks after they do. But even when a husband or spouse or a couple come together and just start to talk about the issues of life, family and raising, and talk about retirement, and what's your idea of retirement, what's my idea of retirement, where do we meet, you know, your idea of retirement might be, you know, campground, and mine might be the Marriott, you know. And so maybe you got to find something in between, maybe there's a Hilton or something, you know. But I think that's great that the thing that I picked up, brother, and we'll expound on it, is that we have all these many mastermind relationships in our life. But we don't see them that way. When people put the tag on a mastermind, it seems like it's something larger than it is, but it is very important.
Yeah.
That's very
It is
important.
very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Michelle. I think you were going to say
No,
something.
I was just going to say, Tony, at the start of the show, we talked about, the Goldman Sachs program. And part of that is peer-to-peer learning. That's what
Yeah.
happens in a mastermind.
Yeah.
It's the peer-to-peer learning. But then also you're going to have Julie Gordon White on the radio show on Friday. And I was in her mastermind. She didn't call it a mastermind, but that is exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It was a mastermind, and it elevated my thinking about my own business.
Yeah.
And since being in her mastermind, I can see the fruits of that time spent with her and the group of ladies that was in that group now. So
Yeah.
masterminding is very important, and it can be in your daily life. You don't have to be a business owner
Yeah.
to mastermind.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that up, Michelle, because there are people who watch our show that aren't business owners.
Mhm.
There's a lot of seniors that watch.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people who are single, people just starting a business, people
Mhm.
retired, and we all can benefit from a
Mhm.
mastermind. What is your small group at church?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
It's a
mastermind.
mastermind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what is your Bible study, your Sunday school class?
Mhm.
It
There you go.
becomes a mastermind. Yeah,
There you go.
praise him.
There
Yeah.
you go.
So, but yeah, so it's a mastermind.
Mhm.
And we bring all these minds together and we share. Now, with the Bible study, of course, it might be revolving around a scripture, but so
Mhm.
often it becomes more than just what we're studying in scripture. We begin to share life together.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
And
you both have hit the nail direct. I couldn't have even said it. When you were asking the question, Michelle chimed in and she pretty much explained it. It's really just a matter of language. We
Mhm.
use the mastermind language clearly when we're talking about business and entrepreneurship. But you hit the nail right on the head. You can call it a study group. You can
Mhm.
call it a peer-to-peer learning. All of these things are applicable. And the one point that you really hit on, Tony, that I think is so profound that people need to understand is that it can be in any category or wherever there's a problem that
Mhm.
needs to be solved. You can
Mhm.
solve it in this peer-to-peer learning or these group
Mhm.
discussions, or some of us call them support groups. So depending
Mhm.
upon your sphere of influence, the business or category or industry that you're in, the names may be interchangeable. So I wouldn't get caught up on the name mastermind, but for business purposes and to really simplify it, this is the language that we've become accustomed to. But you hit it, Tony, the nail directly on the head. It's ancient. This is so rooted in how we just functioned as a people for centuries that we
Mhm.
just lost. And so now we're getting back to that, and we're just trying to make sure that each of us know that we can solve our relationship problems by doing these type of settings. Our financial problems, our business problems can be solved in this type of setting. So I thank you both for really saying it that way, because I think that needs to be said, that a person doesn't get caught up on the language of
Mhm.
a mastermind.
well, man,
And the result of the mastermind, it elevates you. It
Absolutely.
elevates you as a person in
Yeah,
whatever category you're in that mastermind. It just elevates you. So
absolutely.
it's
I don't,
absolutely worth it.
I don't know what y'all doing tonight, but y'all kind of bringing the preacher out of me tonight. Because I think
Well, come
about
on.
mastermind, and I think about, God created Adam and said it's not good that man would be alone,
That's
right?
Right.
right. That's
Mhm.
right.
Mastermind, right? He said the
Yeah.
Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, mastermind, right?
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
have all these wonderful biblical examples of this masterminding concept as well. And
Mhm.
so I
Napoleon,
love that you
Napoleon, Napoleon Hill said Jesus and the 12 disciples. That's a
Right.
mastermind.
That's the
That's a
mastermind.
mastermind, right?
Yeah.
It's a mastermind. And sometimes somebody in the mastermind got to go. But, anyway,
That's
Right.
right. That's right. Everybody's not going to agree in the mastermind.
Right.
everybody's not going to agree in the mastermind. And I think I'd like to kind of explore that thought right there a little bit,
Yeah.
because I think one of the things, and Napoleon Hill talks about it, and thank you for reminding our audience about Dr. Kimbrough, because he was hand selected by the Napoleon Foundation to finish Napoleon's work.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so, and we call it the Think and Grow Rich or Black choice. But one of the benefits of the mastermind concept is that we don't all think alike.
Yep.
Right.
Talk a little bit about that.
No, that's the beauty of the mastermind, is that you're going to learn from someone else's experiences. As I said from the beginning, this is this setting where you can literally borrow the education, the wisdom, and the knowledge of another human being, another individual who has achieved some degree of success, and make it your own. Right. Well, you don't see, think about the setting that you were in with Dr. Roberts. Think about, we have a, if you want to call it, I can't say it's osmosis, because we're actually getting some information from Dr. Roberts. We're not just standing next to him and learning. But think about the wisdom, the years of experience that you gained, the how your learning curve was shortened just by being in close proximity and asking I've learned more about hotels just by being with him and walking through his hotel, right?
Right.
But I could have never have gotten that experience. I've learned more about doing deals. He talks about the deal that he did with Sprint. I mean, very complicated deal, but for me to be able to be in a mastermind setting and him explain that it's priceless. And so, to your point, you don't want to. Matter of fact, think about what Dr. Kimbrough said. If you're the smartest person in your group, it's time to get a new group.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't want to be the smartest person in the mastermind. And in fact, what we do, that's why with the training that I'm helping with people to start their mastermind, I'm trying to make them understand from the very beginning that your job is to really be a facilitator of the mastermind, to be able to facilitate and ask questions and get all of the knowledge and wisdom out of the room, and allow as Michelle said, the peers to provide their insight. Because if you're asking the right questions and you go deep enough and you surface the real issues, you'll find it. Even though I may not know the answer, but here we are in a circle. Here it is. Tony may have had some experience in something where he can say, "Oh, I didn't know that you were dealing with that, Michelle. Well, here's what we did," right? That's when you start talking about 30-year anniversaries. Well, here's what we did,
Right.
10 years ago when we ran into this in our relationship, and we had to sit down and talk about it. I never thought about it that way. And then here I am sitting there. I haven't been married 30 years, but I'm at 21. So I'm like, wow, I got to look forward to that at 24. So now you have an experience that I haven't experienced. So humility, here's what I would say though. In joining a mastermind, the key trait or the key attribute is being humble, humility. Because having humility would allow you to hopefully first reveal whatever issues you have that you need solved, but then have the humility to receive the different points of views that you may not have thought of. And chances are you haven't thought about it. Everyone has so many different life experiences, and it's just these nuanced things, just as you mentioned, Dr. Picard. I mean, there's just being in groups with Dr. Picard. It's not about the hard knowledge or the things that you think he may teach you about business. It's the nuanced things. It's the wisdom that you can't see. You can't even see it in a book. It's not on a spreadsheet. It's nowhere. It's an experience that you can only get that information by being in the room.
Yep.
He said something, and it like, people have these little coin phrases and and it just sticks with you. The one thing he said when he was on our show, he said, "You might be able to beat me counting, but you can't beat me figuring." I love that.
Yeah.
And so this is such a valuable, rich conversation, right? Because there's just, we can collapse time.
Yeah.
We don't have to. And when you were talking about like when you were kind of using the reference of a marriage in 30 years, it's not only a mastermind is a great benefit for someone telling you what you can do, but some things you shouldn't do.
Yes.
Right.
Pitfalls that you can avoid.
Yeah.
And those type of things. But you're right. I mean, one of the things that Dr. Emma was with us at the time that Michael was here, and he was touring the facility, looking at it from an investment standpoint. We brought him here for that purpose. but just to hear the questions that he asked
Yeah.
as we toured that facility.
Yeah. Better than Shark Tank, wasn't it? Better than Shark Tank, right?
Better than Shark Tank, right?
Yeah.
Better than Shark Tank. So
Yeah.
pretty awesome stuff. So
Yeah.
we're approaching an hour already. It's almost
Michelle is already shaking her head saying no.
I know.
No, we can't stop. We got to keep going. So tell us a little bit about your mastermind group and tell us a little bit about that. I've seen the graphic. It's a beautiful graphic.
Thank you.
And so tell us a little bit about your mastermind group that you're facilitating.
Yeah, and to keep it so we've really been talking about it all along is that my love and desire for helping us with our entrepreneurial greatness, tapping into that is what propelled me to start the Masters of Business. I've had this idea for a very long time, but over the past 5 years, we gave birth to it, and we've just been slowly but surely bringing it to the point to where it is now. And it's called the Mob. So the mastermind is called the Mob, the Masters of Business Network and Mastermind. And it's designed to help us to become better entrepreneurs, to become individuals who are truly ambitious and concerned about a bigger and brighter future for ourselves. And so coming together in that mastermind saying, and it's all virtual right now, where we have our monthly mastermind meetings, we have weekly check-ins, and then I don't even do courses anymore. I just love to just put my trainings into the group and allow us to go through the materials, and then we come together and we discuss it as we're talking about here. But one of the key components of the group, and you've talked about it even with this platform that you have, is that by me having an extensive network, I'm able to bring in individuals who can help to solve or workshop different issues and problems. So that's one of the key components of my mastermind. And this is really something for anyone else who's thinking about starting a mastermind, is that your hurdle for you starting is you're probably saying, well, who will listen to me? Or I'm not smart, or if I'm not quote unquote the expert. The beautiful part about a mastermind is that you could bring in the experts. And so we have Dr. Stacy NC Grant coming into the group. Next Tuesday, Dr. Frazier's been in the group. Dr. Kimbrough is coming in the group. Dr. Roberts has been in the group. So they come in, and so the others who are in the group get the benefit of their knowledge and wisdom, and they're able to ask them questions. And so that's one of the if I wanted to say something that could kind of encourage your audience to really strongly consider joining a mastermind, and even starting your own mastermind, which could be a new business model for you, especially in this new virtual age where you can literally find people who are all excited to learn and master a subject, and they're willing to pay to learn from others in the group and be a part of a group that's getting to that destination faster and quicker and better and more efficient. And so that's really, to sum up what I do in a nutshell. I did a presentation. I actually made it live. It was taken offline, but I knew that I was coming on here with you. So I made it live for those who just wanted to go back and take a look at it. If you go to simplevirtualmastermind.com, you can just enter your email and you'll be able to see a video presentation I've done to kind of break all of this down for free. So you can go and see.
So tell us that website again. It's
simplevirtualmastermind.com.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Simplevirtualmastermind.com.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. I got it written down. Hope y'all writing it down. Hey, I thought I heard Michelle clicking over there. Were you clicking?
You heard me typing it in, right? So
right.
You want to know the beautiful part about this is that when you have experience like what you all have, right? You know the benefit of the mastermind. It's just sometimes we haven't taken the position to either implement a mastermind or look at it from this perspective where it becomes a part of your business model or becomes a part of your ongoing education. I won't do anything else but masterminding now. I'm so in love with it because I know that, again, that's where the transformation
It
happens,
is.
right? It's where the questions get answered. It's where you get the benefit of someone else's learning. You get the experience.
Mhm.
You get those pearls of wisdom. It
Yeah.
all goes down, not in the DM.
Right.
It goes
Yeah.
down in the mastermind.
Yeah.
In the mastermind.
Because
And
one
so
of the benefits, it collapses time.
Absolutely. And
right.
space. Think about not just time, but look,
Time
here
and
we are,
Mhm.
especially doing it virtually. I mean, we have people from all over the country and literally
Mhm.
all over the world who join the mastermind. So again, the one of the restrictions before with the mastermind was the travel, right? You know, you'd have to
Mhm.
travel to get to a mastermind destination. Now, with the virtual experience, you can literally be in the comfort of your own home and mastermind with brothers and sisters from all over the world.
Yep.
That's awesome.
I love
And
it.
we are developing. We are developing the Real Money Coach. We're not calling it a mastermind.
Exactly.
It's going to be a membership, and it's going to
Yeah.
have some meetings where we come together and talk. And our vision for it is we can have these small groups.
Yeah.
You know, so
Mhm.
if you're dealing with credit issues, we all come together for a master time together, a networking time, a general where we'll have someone that's going to come in and share with the group, and then we can break off into small groups. Like if you're dealing with
Mhm.
credit, you can do that. If you're dealing with debt, you can go over here. If you're dealing with, or you got questions about retirement, and then having that type of mastermind group where people can benefit from it.
Real
And, you
quick,
know,
real
and
quick, real quick to that point, too. I just want to say this because I just want your audience to hear this point. The true power happens in those smaller groups.
Mhm.
Sometimes
absolutely,
people are coming to the mastermind, you know, say they want to hear what Brother Bedford has to say. Oh, you got George, and they want to hear what George. But it's when they get together
Mhm.
and they have an experience or two people that can connect, and they're not on the platform. It's just providing the environment and the space for
Mhm.
people to
yes,
come together and share. You'll be surprised that I've had a person come up to me and say, "Look, it's worth the money." Now, I heard what you said, Brother Bedford. I done heard you. I done heard George speak 100 times, and I heard you. But I met Sister such and such, and we talked about this, and she solved my problem just like that. And so it's really the environment that allows others to grow and to develop in this space.
Yeah.
that's awesome.
The
That's
peer to
awesome.
peer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, brother, man, you've blessed us. You blessed us this
Yes.
evening. I
Thank
thank you so much for taking
you.
the time out of your busy schedule, to be here and share with us. Once again, God is true. I mean,
No doubt about it.
people just share and people who are expert in their areas.
That's right.
And
Mhm.
so I really appreciate it. I thank you. Hopefully you'll be able to pop in next week and spend a little time as we have this
Oh,
book launch.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Book launch
Absolutely.
happening next week,
Yeah.
right? So
Congratulations too, Tony.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the book.
thank you. I mean, it feels real good to have made that accomplishment. And so and I just pray that it's a blessing for many people. So that's the ultimate goal, really, is for it to be
Mhm.
a blessing. So Michelle, any parting words?
Man, this was really good. It was good to meet you, Brother Bedford.
No, the pleasure was all mine. We had our own little mastermind
I
going
know
on.
we did. We did.
You're right. We just displayed
Yeah.
Yes,
a mastermind.
exactly.
We
Yeah.
just displayed it here on the Real Money Coach Live, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
We
see
just
the energy, to see the energy that it produces. You don't want to leave. You know, the conversations are engaging. This is not like a course. It's not like just somebody. It's
Right.
conversation. It's learning. It's growing, and you don't want to leave the mastermind. Sometimes I have to cut mine off, and it's like, man, I don't want to go.
Right.
well, and really, that's what we do every week
Yeah,
when we
Yep.
bring these great minds on here.
Mhm.
Is it's like a mastermind each and every week.
yeah.
So, depending, the topics vary depending on who's on,
Mhm.
but it's a great time. So, listen, I see my man's got it scrolling on the bottom, reminding y'all that we're gonna be streaming live next week, 7 p.m. Again, I'm encouraging you to register at ipadyourmoney.com. We have we've talked about several people that's going to be on the thing. We
Mhm.
talked about them tonight because the world it's small. This network is really smaller than we really think it is. And when we met, I mean, I had no idea you knew Dennis, and I knew you knew George, but
Right.
it's just a great small world to be in. It's good to be in this circle. So I want to thank everyone for being here. Please register, spread the word to your family and friends about the book launch. You know it's going to be some nuggets drop with who we got lined up. So get your pen and paper. Listen, I'm supposed to be the host. I'll be taking notes every week. I'll be taking notes from these guys and these ladies who come and share with us. And so I encourage you to do the same. And with that, we're going to bid you good night. Stay safe, and we will see you if you happen to listen in on Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, WDRB Media, iHeartRadio, and certainly next week at 7 p.m., the virtual book launch. Thank you. Have a great night.
Good night.
Thanks, Tony. Good night.